Many have tried to uncover the truth, and many have failed. Some claim the tribe is nothing more than legend, a tale woven by locals to keep outsiders from venturing too deep into the jungle. But others, those who have spent their lives exploring the uncharted wilderness, tell a different story. They speak of strange encounters that defy explanation, massive footprints pressed deep into the mud, far larger than those of any known gorilla species, eerie calls echoing through the trees at night, unlike any recorded primate vocalization. And then there are the fleeting glimpses, dark, hulking figures moving just beyond the reach of torchlight, vanishing into the undergrowth as if they were never there. Some researchers have dismissed these sightings as misidentifications, tricks of light and shadow, or even the power of suggestion in an environment where the mind plays tricks. But others believe that these could be the signs of something truly extraordinary, an undiscovered species, or even a lost evolutionary branch of primates hiding in the deepest, most inaccessible parts of the rainforest. If these stories are true, then this could be one of the greatest wildlife discoveries of our time, a breakthrough that challenges everything we know about gorillas, intelligence, and survival. And today, we are diving deep into this mystery, exploring the evidence, the myths, and the daring expeditions that have attempted to solve one of the jungle's greatest secrets. For generations, whispers of an unusual tribe of gorillas have been passed down through the stories of indigenous people. These were not ordinary gorillas, they claimed, but a secretive and highly intelligent group, living deep within the jungle where no outsider had ever ventured. Some spoke of their enormous size, far surpassing the gorillas known to science, while others described their strange, almost human-like behaviors, crafting tools, communicating in complex ways, and even displaying rituals that seemed eerily advanced. These stories were often dismissed as folklore, nothing more than exaggerated myths designed to scare away trespassers. But as explorers pushed further into the jungle, they began to hear accounts that were far too similar, too detailed, to be ignored. The first written mention of these mysterious creatures appeared in the journals of early explorers, who described encounters that left them questioning what they had seen. Some wrote of an eerie sensation, as if they were being watched from the treetops, only to turn and catch the briefest glimpse of a massive, shadowy figure before it melted into the dense foliage. Others recalled finding enormous nests, built in intricate patterns, suggesting a level of organization and intelligence beyond what was known of gorilla behavior at the time. One explorer, in a now-faded letter, claimed to have stumbled upon an entire clearing filled with crude but deliberate markings on the trees, as if something had been trying to communicate. As the years passed, reports of strange and unknown primates continued to surface. Hunters and loggers told of enormous footprints in places where no known gorilla species resided. Scientists collecting samples deep in the rainforest reported hearing unsettling vocalizations, deep, rhythmic calls that seemed to answer one another in a structured pattern, almost like a language. And in some of the most remote regions, villagers spoke of encounters with creatures that stood taller than any man, their dark eyes reflecting the glow of firelight, before they silently disappeared into the jungle. Despite these countless stories, no concrete evidence has ever been brought back. No clear photographs, no physical remains, no undeniable proof that the lost gorilla tribe truly exists. Some researchers believe this is because they are simply a legend, a blending of myth and reality, with no basis in fact. But others argue that perhaps the lack of evidence is, in itself, proof of their intelligence, their ability to avoid detection, and their mastery of an environment that humans still barely understand. If they are real, then they are masters of survival, ghosts of the jungle, hiding in the last untouched corners of the wild. In recent years, reports of unusual gorilla activity have begun to resurface, this time not from ancient explorers or tribal elders, but from modern-day researchers, photographers, and locals who have ventured deep into the rainforest. Some of these accounts come from scientists conducting wildlife studies, who claim to have heard vocalizations unlike anything they've ever recorded before. long rhythmic calls that don't match the communication patterns of any known primate species. Others have discovered peculiar signs of movement in areas where no documented gorilla populations exist, as if an unseen presence is watching from the dense canopy, always staying just out of reach. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence comes from an expedition team that ventured into a remote section of the jungle, an area so difficult to reach that it had remained untouched for decades. As they set up camp, they noticed strange markings on the trees, deep scratches, not from leopards or other animals, but from something that seemed to be using patterns, almost as if it was leaving a message. A few days later, while tracking a group of known gorillas, they discovered something shocking. Among the usual footprints of the troop, there were prints nearly twice the size of any recorded gorilla foot. The shape was similar, the toe positioning correct, but the sheer scale of it left them speechless. Could this be evidence of the lost tribe? Locals in nearby villages tell stories that align with these discoveries. Some claim to have seen shadowy figures moving swiftly through the trees at dusk, far larger than any gorilla they had encountered before. Others recount chilling nights where deep, guttural sounds echoed through the jungle, too structured to be random animal cries but too unfamiliar to belong to any known species. In one particularly eerie account, a group of farmers spoke of finding enormous handprints pressed into the mud near the riverbank. Prints so large and distinct that they seemed to belong to something beyond their understanding. Even with all these clues, skepticism remains. Without photographic evidence or a body, many scientists refuse to acknowledge the possibility of an undiscovered gorilla species. But for those who have stood in the jungle and felt the weight of unseen eyes watching from the shadows, the mystery is undeniable. Something is out there, something that does not want to be found, deep in the heart of the jungle, where the dense canopy blocks out the sun and the air is thick with the sounds of unseen creatures. A team of explorers sets out on a journey that could change everything. Armed with cameras, tracking equipment, and the latest in wildlife detection technology, they push forward into an untouched world, one that has kept its secrets hidden for centuries. Their mission is simple but daunting: to find evidence of the lost gorilla tribe and prove, once and for all, that the legends are real. The journey is treacherous. The jungle is alive with movement, every rustling leaf and distant call, a reminder that they are stepping into a world ruled by nature, not man. The deeper they go, the more they begin to notice things that feel off. Massive nests, far larger than those of known gorillas, are discovered high in the trees. Twisted branches form strange patterns along the paths, as if something, or someone, has been marking its territory. The tension among the group grows as they begin to feel an eerie sensation, the overwhelming presence of something watching, hidden just beyond their line of sight. As night falls, the jungle transforms. The usual hum of insects and distant cries of birds are interrupted by something different, a deep, rhythmic sound, almost like a drumbeat, echoing through the trees. The team freezes, listening intently. The sound is repeated, coming from another direction. It's not random, it's structured. It's communication. Hearts pound as they scan the darkness with their equipment, hoping to catch a glimpse of whatever is out there. Then, just for a moment, movement. A large, shadowy figure shifts in the distance, barely visible in the flickering light of their torches. Before they can react, it's gone, melting into the jungle as if it had never been there at all. Determined to find more, they push further, following the strange vocalizations and markings. Along a narrow riverbed, they come across something undeniable, an enormous footprint, unlike any they've seen before. The shape is gorilla-like, but the size is almost double that of any known species. The excitement in the group is electric. Could this be the first real piece of evidence that the lost tribe exists? The team presses on, their senses heightened, every step filled with anticipation. The deeper they go, the more they begin to realize that they may not be the ones doing the tracking. Something is leading them, staying just ahead, revealing just enough to keep them moving forward. But why? Is it curiosity? A warning? Or is there something much bigger at play? Something they are only beginning to understand? The jungle is eerily silent. The usual chorus of insects and birds has faded into an unsettling stillness, as if the entire rainforest is holding its breath. The team moves cautiously, their footsteps barely making a sound against the damp earth. Then, without warning, a deep, guttural sound rumbles through the trees, low and resonant, vibrating through the air. It's unlike anything they've heard before. The team stops, exchanging glances. Whatever made that sound is close. As they raise their cameras, scanning the dense vegetation ahead, movement catches their eyes. A shadow shifts between the trees, massive, deliberate, controlled. The team barely dares to breathe. The figure emerges just enough for them to see the outline. A towering gorilla, far larger than any ever documented, its dark eyes locked onto them from a short distance. There's something different about it. The way it stands, the way it observes them with a quiet intelligence, as if it is assessing whether they are a threat. For a fleeting moment, time seems to freeze. Then, as quickly as it appeared, the creature vanishes into the jungle, disappearing with an effortless grace that seems impossible for its size. The team rushes forward, desperate to catch another glimpse, but it's gone. Only the deep footprints in the soft earth remain, fresh and unmistakably real. They kneel beside them, pressing their own hands against the massive impressions, overwhelmed by the sheer scale of what they are witnessing. This is no ordinary gorilla. This is something else. Excitement pulses through the group. They have found the evidence they were searching for, something tangible, something undeniable. The legends, the stories, the strange sightings. They weren't just myths. The lost gorilla tribe exists. But as they document the footprints and scan the area for more clues, a realization begins to settle in. If these gorillas have remained hidden for so long, there must be a reason. The jungle around them suddenly feels different. Not hostile, but aware. They are not just explorers passing through. They are intruders in a world they do not belong to. The thought lingers in their minds as they prepare to leave, carrying with them more questions than answers. Did the gorilla allow itself to be seen? Was this a warning or an invitation? And if this is just the beginning, what else remains undiscovered, deep within the heart of the jungle? The discovery changes everything. The team stares at the massive footprints, the freshly disturbed vegetation, the undeniable signs that something extraordinary exists in these depths. Yet, instead of triumph, a new question begins to form. What does this mean? If an undiscovered tribe of gorillas has survived undetected for so long, what else have we failed to see? Could this be the missing link in primate evolution, or something even more mysterious? Scientists who have spent their lives studying gorillas have long believed we know everything about them, how they live, how they communicate, how they interact with their environment. But this discovery challenges that belief. If these gorillas are larger, more intelligent, and more elusive than any known species, then their existence could reshape everything we understand about primates and their connection to us. Some researchers speculate that they may have developed unique adaptations to avoid human detection, possibly even a more complex form of communication or social structure that has allowed them to remain hidden for centuries. But with discovery comes responsibility. The jungle is shrinking. Deforestation, poaching, and human expansion threaten the last untouched corners of the wild. If this lost gorilla tribe truly exists, their survival is already at risk. Some experts argue that revealing their location could put them in danger, attracting hunters, exploiters, and industries that would stop at nothing to capitalize on such a rare find. Others insist that bringing awareness is the only way to protect them, to ensure their rainforest home remains untouched. The debate is ongoing, but one thing is certain. This is no longer just a legend. The lost gorilla tribe may not want to be found, But their existence, even in the shadows, reminds us that the natural world is still full of secrets waiting to be uncovered. The deeper we search, the more we realize how little we truly know. And perhaps, just beyond the reach of our understanding, there are still ancient creatures watching, listening, and deciding for themselves whether mankind is ready to know the truth. The jungle holds its mysteries tightly, and for now, the lost gorilla tribe remains just that, lost. But what if they are not truly lost at all? What if they have simply chosen to remain hidden, existing in a world untouched by modern civilization, a world they have instinctively protected from human intrusion? As the team makes their way back from the expedition, a quiet understanding settles over them. They came seeking answers, but the jungle only offered glimpses, enough to confirm the legends, yet not enough to claim full discovery. The evidence they gathered is compelling. Footprints, strange vocalizations, sightings that defy logic. But without solid proof, the scientific world will remain skeptical. Some will call it a hoax, an exaggeration, a misinterpretation of known gorilla behavior. Others, however, will see this as the beginning of something greater, a challenge to continue searching, to keep pushing into the uncharted corners of the rainforest in hopes of uncovering the full truth. The expedition may be over, but the mystery is far from solved. Beyond the limits of what we understand, the jungle continues to breathe, alive with creatures we have yet to document, secrets we have yet to uncover. Perhaps the lost gorilla tribe will remain a legend, existing in the whispers of those who claim to have seen them. Or maybe one day the world will finally witness their existence in undeniable clarity. Until then, the rainforest keeps its watchful guardians hidden, deep in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. The question is, when that moment comes, will we be ready?